power that we are dealing with here is immeasurably awesome.
What's going on, it's River Thames, and today I've got some Scarif DLC hero testing. I decided to do Krennic first because personally I think he's the cooler out of the two, and I think his abilities have a lot of potential to make an interesting episode. So if you do want to see Jyn Erso, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to keep up to date with the series. But before I get into the episode, I want to quickly explain what Krennic does and how he works, because since he's a new hero, a lot of you may not be familiar with what he does, so I'll just quickly explain what he does. Alright, so first off, he has a pretty unique blaster. It's called the DT-29, and it's basically a revolver. You get 6 rounds, 6 blaster rounds, and then you have to manually reload it after you've fired all of them. His first ability is called Armor Breaker. It's pretty similar to Leia's Trooper because it's a modification of the primary blaster. Armor Breaker one-shots troopers, it has a slight lock-on, you can use it for however long you want, although it does require a reload after every shot, and it's called the Armor Breaker because it reduces the armor that can be given from, say, Chewbacca or Leia's new trait, which gives armor to her teammates, which I may cover in a later video. His second ability, he places an astromech droid called C2-B5. And what this droid does, it creates a shield, it drops a Dioxis grenade and has a scan pulse, and it moves around. This is really useful for holding down objectives, although it does have a really long cooldown time, which can be quite frustrating. But I found a little tactic that might help you guys out. His last ability is called Wrath of the Empire. What this does, it gives himself and nearby teammates bonus armor. It also gives normal soldiers double health, meaning they can get up to 200 health, but this reduces over time, so you don't need to take damage or anything, it just reduces by itself over time. Heroes are affected by this, they get 10% health bonus as well as Krennic himself, but as soon as they reach the 10% then they can't get, you know, hit with a back to bomb or whatever. For the first test, obvious one, can Luke deflect Armor Breaker? And the answer is yes, but with some kind of disadvantage. It deflects, but it only deflects like 3 damage, and there's a really heavy stun on any hero, so once you get hit with the Armor Breaker, you're stunned for like a couple seconds and you can't do anything. And when Luke deflects it, he does take full damage, so it's not exactly a deflection, he just deflects part of it, I guess. So the answer is yes, he can deflect it, but he does take damage from deflecting and gets a heavy stun out of it. Next test, another fairly simple one. Can it break a shield? Since the Armor Breaker, you know, shields kind of armor in a sense, but no, it can't. It does do exactly 50 damage per shot from the Armor Breaker, so 2 shots of this and you can take out a shield. Next I wanted to see how much Armor Breaker does to a hero, because sometimes these things could be bugged, but so I wanted to test it. It done 16 damage every time to Jyn. The damage stayed consistent, there was no armor drop or whatever. But keep in mind that the damage does vary between heroes, so I'm gonna say it will do about 10 to 15 damage depending on what hero you use, because each hero has a different amount of health, so the Armor Breaker will do a different amount of damage to each hero. So I'm gonna say about 10 to 15 damage, plus the heavy stun. It is a really good ability to use because it works from both long range and close range. Next, you can actually snipe the gunner out of the U-wing. A lot of you probably already know this because you've seen some clips of it, if I say myself, it is really hard to hit. The amount of times I tried in private match was too many, but I eventually did it. I didn't exactly snipe the gunner. I think I blew up the U-wing, but it shows that it can be locked onto the U-wing. It is possible to take out the gunner, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do it. So if you're able to do it, then let me know in the comments below. Oh yeah, hit you.
Did you hit me or did you blow up?
Yeah, I got killed.
Did you hit me or did you blow
Next I wanted to see if Chewbacca does his mighty roar, will the armor breaker cancel out the armor buff he receives? And no, this wasn't the case, because I shot the armor breaker first and it dealt 5 damage, and if it's the armor breaker it should reduce the amount of armor he has. So I tried again and the second one still done 5 damage, so it doesn't appear to take down Chewbacca's armor. It's probably just for when Chewie uses the armor buff on infantry soldiers. Armor breaker has a really big splash damage, so yes, it can get multi-kills. I was trying to go for like a big multi-kill in Hero Hunt, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. The most I could get was like a double kill. But as you can see with the armor breaker, you don't exactly need to hit the rebel on the body to get the kill. You just need to hit on the floor because it has a big splash damage. Alright, so moving on to C2-B5. This is the droid that is basically the best ability Krennic has. The way this droid works is if a rebel is near the droids, then it will deploy dioxis gas. And what I found out is a hero can stand in it. If a hero stands in it for long enough, there's no doubt it's going to kill it, because the droid only deploys the gas when something is near it. Like you can see in these next clips, the dioxis isn't activated, but as soon as a rebel walks near it, the dioxis will start working. And I've got some close-up shots of how the dioxis works.
Yeah, I saw it.
If you manage to get a hero close to the droid and keep them there, for example, as you can see against Luke, it's really effective because all of his abilities are close range. So the closer you get to Krennic, the more damage you're going to take from the droid, because the droid doesn't run out of dioxis gas if the rebel is close to you. So this is really effective in Hero Hunt and Heroes vs Villains, especially against the close range heroes. This was actually a pretty interesting one. C2-B5 can actually regenerate his shield. This is actually really useful because the ability does have like a 40-second cooldown, which is really long if that shield gets destroyed quickly. It took around 15 seconds for the shield to regenerate, and I think this is such a great tactic to know, because when you see the shield's gone down, you want to place another droid, or you have to wait another 40 seconds to get another droid for the power up to recharge. Next was actually kind of an interesting one. The droids and turrets from a rebel will target C2-B5. It destroys them really quickly actually, and this is kind of a tactic against Krennic. You can place a droid inside the shield of his. You'll probably die from his dioxis, but within that time the droid will probably have destroyed C2-B5, so and Krennic won't be able to place another one for another 40 seconds, which allows you to get a lot close up to him and do some real damage.
This probably will be the last one.
Since a DT-29 isn't a heat-based weapon, disruption won't work on it. So you can use disruption on Krennic and it will have no effect. You can still die from his normal DT-12 or the armor breaker because they're both the same weapon. Although keep in mind that Lando's disruption will stop armor breaker from working. It will stop armor breaker from working because it is an ability of Krennic. So keep that in mind when you do go up against Lando. Not that you would want to go up against Lando because he's pretty broken at the moment. Next, I just wanted to throw in some general tests. I was looking through the patch notes, and Bacta bombs and medical droids now affect heroes, so I wanted to see if it's stacked, but no, it doesn't. As soon as you get a 10% health bonus, then it stops there. I think this is because to avoid the spam of Bacta bombs, because it would be very overpowered if that was true, but DICE have done a really good job on this Bacta, so no, it does not stack. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of testing Krennic. I'm looking to do a part 2 of this and do a Jyn Erso test, so leave a like and let me know in the comments if you want to see part 2 and Jyn Erso. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!